So I think for women, a lot of times it can be both personal and professional. Always that caregiver, always that person who's taking care of others. And when you layer that with leading, with being in service, with doing your job, it compounds and expectations that can really be pushed in those environments. But there's also little things in the workplace that women are expected to, oh, it's the time to celebrate everyone, or we're, caring for individuals, and women in the workplace are looked at to take on those roles beyond their titles and their responsibilities. And so I've always tried to kind of name what the issues are. So carving space to understand like what my expectations are, both for myself and in both environments. Working with those that are in those spaces. So if it's at work, being able to say, here are my expectations. I am a divorced single mother. And so for me, it was important every single day that I was able to drop my son off at school. And so my day didn't start until a little bit later than, another person's, but my day ended a little bit later for that balance. But being able to carve out those things around, if these are my expectations, these are the things that are, I don't want to cross those lines, because I can't be everywhere. I may not be able to pick him up every day because my day goes a little long, but every morning before he gets out of the car, I can say, have a good day, I love you, and have that moment. So from the personal side, you're typically balancing families, and whether you are a mother or a sister, a caregiver, we tend to take on very unique roles in our families and supporting our families. So setting those boundaries, right? Being able to put those expectations, particularly when you're trying to balance between work and home, I think has been really important. And I think at home, it is about trying to communicate, some of the pressures that you feel, both home and work balance, being able to rely on those that are in your circle, in your family. And sometimes we have to share what those challenges are to be able to get that support, and not just assume that everyone understands, right? If you can build that support and you can build those boundaries, there's, opportunities to be able to get what you need to be able to be supported and successful. I think it's different for everyone. For me, those conversations are, one, it's figuring out ways, how do you communicate like the things that are happening, right? And so in our household, we use a calendar, and we are all putting all of our stuff on there. So doctor's appointments and meetings, or late evenings, or for me, I also teach. And so there are, certain nights where I'm teaching. And also then, again, as you start to see that, it gives us a space to be able to say, okay, what do you need? Okay, I'm gonna be late this night. Y'all take care of dinner, or are you gonna be off this day, or are you gonna need support? Sometimes it's, not a orchestrated conversation, but finding things that work for you and your family so that you have ways to be able to talk about it or to communicate and to be able to express, here's some of the things that are coming up. Here's where I might need support. I think for every family, it might be different. I think the power is in maybe being intentional about creating the space to ask those questions to each other, creating the space to ask if someone needs help or how you can help. That intentionality around it, I think, is the most important thing. So I think if you are a woman in the workplace and you're looking for to start a conversation around, how do you set boundaries? How do you ask for flexibility, right? You have to know your environment. You want to build a relationship with, that supervisor, and you want to have an understanding of your work environment. And so some environments are more structured than others. Some environments are built with flexibility, and sometimes it's about understanding what flexibility is available and then asking for it. So you got to start by making sure you understand your environment and what's available. going to that supervisor, building that relationship so that you can share some of those needs and understand what's available to you. Because sometimes we make assumptions like, oh, I couldn't start my day later. And the question is, have you asked, right? Maybe there is a flex schedule, but no one even knew that you had an interest in that, but it's always been available, right? And then if it's not available to you, then the question is, okay, I need some accommodations. What might be it? As an employer, what do we provide for working families, working parents? What are the things that are supports for them that I can take advantage of so that I can continue to support my family? Asking those questions are, they can be tough and they can be uncomfortable, but it's important for each and every one of us to know. Many times you'll see individuals, women in particular, showing up in the workplace and feeling this idea of imposter syndrome. The idea that I know I'm here, I know I have the background and expertise, but for some reason it's like, do I fit? Are people looking at me like, why are they here? And that is really hard, I think, to work through depending on your work environment. What I always encourage women leaders that are moving through their environments is you have to be confident in why you're in the seat, or no one else will be. So we come to the table with expertise. You come to the table with networks and knowledge base, and those are the things that have prepared you to be in that seat. When you come across things that maybe you don't know as well, or that others may perceive that you should or should not know as well, that is something that you can then battle by leaning back into what you do bring to the table, where your strengths are, what are the expertise that you have built over time, and how do you use your networks, both current and previously, to double down into some of those areas. We can't know everything. No one ever will. But the reality is that individual that's dealing with imposter syndrome, I guarantee they know more than some people give them credit for. And so you have to start by giving yourself the most credit. So I would tell little girls, young girls, to really dream and then ask the questions about, how do I turn this dream into a pathway? Look for opportunities where you can explore, what is this dream really about, and who is living the dream I want today? And sit down and ask them about their work. Ask them about the things that they have done. Ask them how they got there and what they might do differently, right? And so while, dream or dream big might sound like a tagline, dreaming starts a process of preparation. Dreaming starts a process of understanding. And there are things that our young girls need to be able to explore and to analyze and to understand to be able to make their dreams a reality. But if they don't dream now, they won't be prepared when the opportunity arises for that dream to come true. So stepping into the role as the Ewing Marion Kauffman president and CEO is a full circle moment for me. If you grew up in Kansas City in the time that I did, you just, knew Mr. Kauffman, and the foundation was just a part of the city and has continued to be for decades. So for me to be able to lead the foundation in this moment, it is something that is very humbling. It's exciting. And it is purely opportunity. My legacy, if you would to say, for me really is ensuring that this foundation over the next few years, the next decade, is able to walk alongside the communities for which it serves, and that it is in service, that it is in partnership, and that it's helping to meet the needs and be a part of removing systemic barriers so that our communities control and have power within their own economic future and their economic prosperity. When you open up that access, when you help to create that opportunities, they thrive. They are amazing. They are transformative. And so to ensure that we can be a part of ensuring that that energy and power sits squarely within the community, that is amazing. It's exciting. And as Mr. Kane would say, we are going to be bold about how we do it and how we partner. And that's this moment, and that's the future.